Hey, so this is Cassidy Phillips once again for Trigger Point Tuesday. I'm going to show you something different today, something new. As some of you might know, I'm climbing Mount Kilimanjaro in a couple of weeks, so I've really amped up my endurance running. I've been doing a lot of trail running, and I actually kind of had a high ankle sprain occur just yesterday. So, you know, the idea there is a long time ago I had a bad ankle sprain. I had the foot drop, and then all the extensors in the front of the leg here got affected, and of course the peroneals then got affected. The peroneals wrapping right around the bone here and then attaching in the side of the foot. So what ended up happening was ended up getting all this edema and marrow on the anterior lateral side of the calcaneus. So that's right up in here. And ever since then, if I take any kind of pressure right in this area, oh, man, it just lights this whole area up in here and then causes a lot of discomfort to the point where I can't really run immediately right afterwards. It's kind of like a stone type bruise, if you know what that feels like. So, you know, what I'm going to show you is some programming, you know, for this area. Let me go have a block real quick. And so the idea here is we've got what's called a slide and glide, and what we do with our slide and glide is we actually use some of on our cold roller here. You know, you see there's a nice surface of cold that builds up right there. So you never want to keep it, you know, steady on the skin during that period of time. But this has been in the freezer for 24 hours, so really, really cold. But what we're going to do is really just take it, and I'm not really sweaty right now, so I have to use the condensation to really push through the muscle here. And what you'll find is, see, I'm taking off that surface, you know, which is turning to liquid. So this allows me to get this anesthesia quality to the muscle, just kind of push through and really allow circulation to increase within this area. So then once I've done the slide and glide there, what I'm going to do is just go ahead and place the cold roller on top of a block, and then I'm going to go through a very similar programming that we do with our regular products. So it's I'm just going to do a 4-peat. There's 2, 3, and 4. I'll go ahead and get some of that great distal movement that we normally get with our MCT programming. And if you listen real close, you'll hear that ankle's popping right there. So the peroneals are really tight. And so I held it there for a bit of time so it got really, really cold. If you want to see kind of what it's done there, you see the cold right in that area right there. So we want to always continually move it. But as I get the soleus region there, and you can get the 3 different compartments, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to get a bit of that same slide and glide here, and I'm going to get that condensation. I'm going to push through my peroneals here just to really force that area. Once again, you see the redness, so I'm increasing circulation nearly immediately to that area, but I'm not holding it in one position for very long because the cold roller right now is incredibly cold. So once I've pushed through there, I'm going to go through once again some regular MCT programming. So I'm going to go up. I'm going to stay in, we're just going to say this is zone 1, 2, 3, and 4. 4 being up at the high side here. And check this out. You'll see that little bump right there. And that's just that right there. And so it just kind of jockeys through that. That's old scar tissue that's just developed over, you know, 30 years of trail running. But I'm just going to push through, and I'm just going to get that cross friction of the mashing involved there. Just really open up the low side. I'll jump into zone 3, let's go 4, which is the top, and we're going to get longest here. I'm going to push forward and back. See, I'm just pushing away from the body. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And here I'm going to rotate my foot, because longest has such a incredible amount of responsibility when you're rotating that foot, which is awesome. And then I'm going to kick it side to side, get some of that mashing technique. Once again, just trying to free up the tissue and always moving. So you can see where the roller has been throughout that whole process there. You see the red patches. But what I've actually done is I've increased circulation to this whole area. It's still cold to touch. Let's just look at dorsiflexion here. You know, I've got an adequate amount of dorsiflexion there, and we'll go to the opposite foot. Not bad. You know, I've increased the dorsiflexion in this side here, so that's great. You know, obviously for trail running so that we can load the ball of the foot there. And then of course, once I've done that, I'll get an-tib. And there's two ways that you can really push through an-tib. Once again, taking advantage of that frost. And then what I'm going to do is I can either seat it here and rotate the foot through that process all the way through. I'm going to show you another technique. You got to make sure that you're on the lateral side of the leg here when you do it. Just go into this position right here, and I'm going to be off to the side. See, my knee kind of comes up and points at me. My foot's up into my groin so that I can actually roll through the lateral side of my leg here. I'm not on the bone at all, and it's really a great way to be able to get that an-tib. So I can get the mashers, I can get the forward and back, you know, I'm up in zone 4 right now, but I'm not on the bone at all. But beneficially, now, Dimitri, what I'll do is, let me just go ahead and hop on this foot. I'll turn to the side. I haven't done anything to this side here. You can see that range of motion. And now I'll come over on this side. And this is the one I have the high ankle sprain. And I think what you can see is that I've got a pretty effortless amount of movement there. So the idea here is, yeah, you can do it as a prep. We truly recommend it as a regenerative process, a regen process, a recovery process. I love the cold roller. I love running, and I love taking care of my body. This is Cassidy Phillips once again. Trigger Point Tuesday. Thanks for watching.